Hello everyone, this is Daughter Darkness, and today this is my second video concerning E3 2015. And today we will be looking at the Sony conference. I can say I forgot to mention it in the last video, I won't be doing a video about the Microsoft conference, because I personally don't have an Xbox, and I'm not really planning on getting one. If I'll watch the conference, if they show me any reason why I'd want to get an Xbox, then that's great, but I'm not expecting anything, and there isn't really anything that I'm hugely looking forward to there. So yeah, it's just going straight from EA onto Sony. And Sony's conference, well, the big thing that's likely to be there is Sony's kind of big exclusive at the moment, which is Uncharted. Uncharted 4, of course, was delayed until next year, but that doesn't stop Sony from showing it here because it is one of their big series, and they'll want to give like an update on how that's going and get a bit of promotion down for the release at the start of next year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. I think that, you know, I only played Uncharted 3, but I really liked that, and I'm looking forward to 4. Yeah, I'd like to see more of that and just show more of the same, really, but just see like more improvements that it's making and just get a bit more of a display of the gameplay and so on and so forth. However, of course, with Uncharted 4 not releasing this year, Sony might want to show some other form of Uncharted this year, which would be possibly a PS4 collection of the first 3 Uncharted games. Now, a lot of people don't want that because it would be like a remaster or whatever, an HD remaster of an HD game. Doesn't make much sense. But, you know, it might make sense to put it on the PS4 as a kind of promotional thing for Uncharted 4 when that releases next year. So you get this out before Christmas and then the Uncharted 4 next year, and I'd personally like that so I can play Uncharted 1 and 2, but yeah, I think that's a possibility, but yeah, that would be something I'd like to see happen. Other than that, we got a bit of news recently about Ratchet & Clank, which is releasing spring next year, both the movie and the game, and it would be good to see more of both of them, but in particular the game, because we haven't really seen anything of the game so far. So yeah, I'd really like to see more of the Ratchet & Clank remake slash reboot slash something else, reimagining I think they call it. So yeah, I'd like to see more of that if possible. That would be good to see. And then if we're looking to more kind of short-term things, Arkham Knight is releasing a week after E3. Is it likely that Sony are going to show it at their conference? It's not hugely likely because it's so close to the release, but they might sort of display the launch trailer or something there. Yeah, they might just put out something like that as some sort of advertisement for Arkham Knight with it a week away from release. That's not anything that's too exciting, but you know, they might, because you know, Arkham Knight is so close anyway that trailers aren't going to really make much difference at this point, because we'll be able to play it a week after E3. So now I get onto the kind of speculation sort of thing. Although before I do that, I should mention Until Dawn as well, which is a PS4 exclusive releasing in August, a horror game, which looks very interesting from my point of view. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. What we saw at the PlayStation Experience event in December was very nice. It looked like a good horror game, and we'll see how good it can be, you know, in August. But maybe they'll show trailers for it now to kind of let us see a little bit more before this game releases in August. And now onto the speculation of what games could be announced potentially. Well, I'm going to say that, you know, The Last of Us is probably going to get a sequel at some point down the line. I don't know, I personally haven't played The Last of Us, so I don't know if it's set up a sequel or anything like that. But I feel like when a game is that popular, that many people like it, it's gonna get a sequel at some point. And maybe, you know, that'll come sort of once Uncharted 4 is out of the way, they'll make The Last of Us 2. But it's a possibility that they might announce that at this year's E3, but I don't know. It's probably more likely to come a little bit further down the line. It's gonna happen at some point, I think, because of how popular and how successful the first game was. But it's just about when it happens. So aside from that, Sucker Punch are probably one of my favourite Sony-owned companies, and they don't currently have a game which has been announced that they're working on. They finished Infamous Second Son and then Infamous First Light, and from that we don't know what they've been doing since then. So, quite possibly we'll see a new Infamous game announced. I don't know if it'll be Infamous 4 or if they want to give it a subtitle like they did to Second Son. But yeah, I think another PS4 Infamous game is quite possible. Of course, from my own personal point of view, Sucker Punch are bigger for me for another franchise, which is Sly Cooper. They made Sly 1 to 3. 4 was made by Sanzaru Games, who said that they won't be working on another one. So if Sucker Punch were to be given back Sly to make Sly 5, and that was announced at this year's E3, then that would be something which would make me sort of jump out of my seat and start cheering or something. I don't know exactly how I'd react. Of anything that can happen at E3, that would probably be the thing which would excite me the most. If a Sly 5 was announced. And, you know, Sanzaru Games I think did a great job with Sly 4. It's probably my favourite Sly game, although the quality of all of them is great. But if they gave it back to the original team at Sucker Punch who made the first 3 games, then that would be something great to see happen. And if they were to announce that at E3 this year, I would get very, very excited. Aside from that, I'm not sure what Sony are going to show us. They'll probably show us something new. Because it's Sony and that's how they do things now, they'll probably show a bit of TV or something like that, like they did last year when there was that Heroes show, I believe it was called. And they showed that for quite a while, so that's quite possible. We'll also see a great selection of indie games, I'm sure, which a lot of people don't like, but, you know, they make up an important part of the gaming industry, and, you know, you can't just rely on the massive games all the time. Some of the smaller games can also be very fun. There's only one other thing I can think of which would get me very happy, which would be PlayStation All-Stars 2. Because PlayStation All-Stars 1 released on the PS3, of course, a few years ago, and it's not hugely popular, but I think it's a very fun game, and I would definitely be down to play another one on the PS4, and it makes sense to, you know, now we're on another generation of PlayStation, why not make a slightly bigger version of the PlayStation All-Stars game, a PS4 version of the game, with more characters, new sort of features and all that kind of thing, and just, you know, make it a generation thing, like I suppose Super Smash Bros. Is for Nintendo. It's not hugely popular, but it's a very fun game, PlayStation All-Star, so if they were to make another one and include some more characters, which might be difficult to show, which would be like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, which are very, very unlikely because Activision are not fans of letting people use their things. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for the Sony conference. There's a lot of potential there, and I'm sure there'll be something there which will be exciting. Of course, this is just what I'm personally looking forward to. Everyone else will have different opinions, so please share those opinions in the comment section below the video. And while you're down there, please like this video if you did, and if you liked it, then check out my other videos and subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you for watching.